We have never been just a collection of red states and blue states. We are and always will be the United States of America.
Before Barack Obama's message of hope and change in his historic 2008 campaign allowed him to become the first Hawaiian-born, the first black, and the first mixed-race president of the United States,
we come to proclaim an end to the petty grievances and false promises, the recriminations and worn-out dogmas that for far too long have strangled our politics.
Before winning the Nobel Peace Prize, taking out Osama bin Laden with SEAL Team 6, and signing into law his signature healthcare reform, which you might know as Obamacare,
healthcare.gov. It's a good resource for understanding the new law.
The problem has been that the website that's supposed to make it easy to apply for and purchase the insurance is not working the way it should for everybody.
before he gave you a reason to say,
"Thanks, Obama."
before he faced unprecedented obstructionism from the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, and way too many questions about his birth certificate.
3 weeks ago when I started, I thought he was probably born in this country, and now I really have a much bigger doubt than I did before.
Barack Obama was born in Hawaii, which is, fun fact, actually a part of the United States and not Kenya. While he will long be remembered as the first black man in the White House, he actually spent his childhood surrounded mainly by the white side of his family. Yeah, his parents separated when he was still a toddler, and he was raised by both his mother and his maternal grandparents. As a teenager, his group of friends called themselves the Choom Gang, a tight-knit bunch who would hang out often and smoke weed. Young Barack, or Barry as he was then called, also experimented with alcohol and cocaine, but none of this would stop him from becoming president, or even limiting drug enforcement as president. Now, the president has been called a lot of things: a socialist, a leftist, a Marxist, a radical, and really none of that turns out to be true. Both the Wall Street and healthcare reform packages he pushed for and signed into law were fairly moderate. He's supported minimum wage increases, but also tax cuts. And he's been pretty tough when it comes to the war on terror. Aside from giving the order to send in SEAL Team 6 to take out bin Laden, he's greatly expanded homeland security projects, including the controversial drone program.
Drones. They're the third most annoying thing in the sky after mosquitoes and plastic bags caught in the breeze. They are not gorgeous, weird kid from American Beauty. They're trash and they kill sea turtles.
What's going on, guys? I'm Matt Rubel, the editor here, filling in for Michael McCrudden and documenting the life of Barack Obama prior to fame, prior to his presidency, here for you on Before They Were Famous. Now, you guys requested this video. Let us know who's next in the comments below. Last time I hosted one of these videos, I covered Bernie Sanders, and you guys wanted to know if I have diabetes.
I'm Wilfred Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
Well, I don't. I'm just fat from sitting in front of a computer putting these videos together. So in a way, this disgusting potbelly, I grew it for you, so you're welcome. But if you want to hear my enchanting voice without seeing my beer gut, the only place to do that is on my channel, Question Time. So be sure to check that out, but first, let's talk about Obama. Barack Hussein Obama II was born on August 4th, 1961 in Honolulu, Hawaii, only 2 years after it had become a state. His Kenyan father, Barack Obama Sr., met his then 17-year-old mother, Stanley Ann Dunham, at the University of Hawaii in a Russian language class in 1960. Now, Ann, being a young white woman from Kansas, was seen as a scandalous figure for getting involved with a black man from Africa. On top of this, she was already 3 months pregnant with Barack Jr. when she married his father. And that marriage, it wouldn't last long.
My father was a foreign student, born and raised in a small village in Kenya. He grew up herding goats, went to school in a tin roof shack.
Back in Africa, Barack Sr. had already had 4 kids with a wife who he had never divorced, although he told Ann that he had. The couple soon separated and later divorced. Barack, or Barry, was just 2 years old when his father left, and he would see him again only once more as a kid in Hawaii in 1971. He would never get to spend much time with him as an adult either. When he was only 21 years old, his father passed away in a car crash. In 1963, Ann met Lolo Sowetoro, a Muslim Indonesian who would soon become Barry's stepdad. He and his mother would then follow Lolo home to Jakarta, and young Barack would live there for 5 years, attending Indonesian language schools, supplemented by his mother's own homeschooling. He would then return to Hawaii, where he lived with his mother's parents. In high school, Barry was a very popular kid who loved basketball, which makes this video kind of hard to explain. Yeah, he was also a big pothead. His group of friends called themselves the Choom Gang, the word choom meaning to smoke ganja. And within the group, Barack apparently started a bunch of pot-related trends. He was also notorious for his interceptions. When the gang would be passing a joint around in a circle, he would grab it out of turn and call out, "Intercepted!" and take an extra hit. Barack attended Occidental College in LA before transferring to Columbia University. 2 years after receiving his BA, he moved to the south side of Chicago, where he worked as a community organizer. As the director of the Developing Communities Project, he created college preparatory and job training programs and also set up a tenants' rights organization. After 5 years, he left this job to attend Harvard Law School, where he became the first black president of the prestigious Harvard Law Review. He then worked as a visiting law and government fellow at the University of Chicago for 2 years, which led to a 12-year gig teaching constitutional law. He spent the next decade working as an attorney at a small law firm, Davis, Minor, Barhill, and Gallant. He would not enter politics per se until 1996, when he was elected to the Illinois State Senate. One of his major accomplishments there was leading an effort to pass legislation designed to crack down on racial profiling. The bill would make cops keep records of the race of the drivers they pulled over, and it was passed with unanimous bipartisan support. He also negotiated welfare reform, sponsored a tax credit increase for low-income families, and was an early and vocal opponent of the war in Iraq. In 2003, he began his campaign for the US Senate, and in 2004 he delivered a highly publicized keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention.
If there's an Arab American family being rounded up without benefit of an attorney or due process, that threatens my civil liberties.
He nailed that speech, which helped him to gain popularity statewide, and on a national level as well. This, in addition to the fact that his Republican opponent had to be replaced somewhat last minute, helped to make his run for US Senate a crushing victory. He won with 70% of the vote. That's a lot.
A lot.
Now, as a US Senator, he did sponsor and co-sponsor a number of bills, but because he was a junior senator, he was relatively unknown to the national public when he announced his run for presidency. That was in 2007. In the Democratic primary, few expected him to beat Hillary Clinton, who was already a very well-established and well-known political figure. She probably wasn't too happy about losing to him.
While I was working on those streets, watching those folks see their jobs shipped overseas, you were a corporate lawyer sitting on the board of Walmart.
His win against veteran Republican Senator John McCain was a little less surprising. Obama was promising change, and after 8 years of this guy...
Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we.
Well, the country was ready to go in another direction. Plus, John McCain's running mate probably didn't help.
We believe... Wait, I thought fast food joints? Don't you guys think that they're like of the devil or something? That's what...
Barack Obama swept the Electoral College with 365 votes to McCain's 173. His victory speech in Chicago was attended by hundreds of thousands of elated supporters.
Woo! Obama, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Obama! Hey, Obama!
And the rest of the story? Well, that'd be his entire presidency, and this is before they were famous.
Change has come to America.
If you'd like to hear more about his actual presidency, I think we'd have to cover that in and after they were famous. So if you'd like to see that, let us know down below. In the meantime, if you want to see more politics stuff, we have covered Donald Trump, we have covered Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and Ben Carson. You also might want to check out Question Time. There's a link for that next to me and in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to your cyberbullying.
You used to call me on my cell phone late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone.